Run to the Jordan.
Beach Boys, man. Back. Welcome to episode 2 of Blood Brother Podcast. I'm Enoch Maurice.
James Alchemy Jr.
We like to start this podcast off every time with a prayer. So I'm gonna
Always.
get that going.
Hold it down, bro.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity. You actually use us in this moment. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Every
Mission
time we do the
statement.
podcast, gotta hit him with the mission statement. Talk to him.
Of course, empowering men to become leaders under God's law. Consequently, I added a little bit to it. Women and children get to hear the proper knowledge of what a real man is supposed to be. So keep that in mind. You had to include the youngins because, you know, we here for them too, you know?
What a real man is supposed to be. So speaking on that, so if y'all watched our previous videos, our first videos about fatherhood, so we decided today we're going to talk about how you should be before you become a father. So we talking on a topic called manhood, because before anything else in life, where you want to go, you got to figure out who you are as a man. So
I like that.
So spark it off. How are we doing this? How we doing this? How you want to do this?
Let's focus on the adolescent years, starting with the age of 10, and let's go up to 30. So we'll break it up into two parts. So we'll go from 10 to like 21, and then we'll have 21 to 30 where we are now.
So kind of do like a comparison?
Yeah, we could do a comparison. We could do an elevation of the mind, and we could really see, you know, from the different perspective and how we formulated our thoughts. So I'll start it off.
Okay.
Let's start off from the 10 to 14. You know, before puberty hit and you lost your mind.
That preteen, teen years.
You know what I mean? Them years where you're innocent, but you're not. You know, you're learning things through media and music and in your community. And I think that's where my perspective of what a man was supposed to be was formulated was, you know, my friends and of course inside the house. So I had like a double-edged sword where it was, you know, I went to church pretty much my whole life, but I think at that pivotal age of 14 is when my parents really stopped going. But I had that foundation in me, so always knew what was right. Not saying that the churches would taught me, maybe it was just God working on me personally, but I always had that conscious mind of what is right and what is wrong. It's just that my environment dictated to my actions at that time. So I was good, you know, up until I would say probably my 13, 14 is where I kind of lost my focus, if that's the best way you want to put it. But I don't know if it was me losing my focus or just the maturation process of my mind where my curiosity really started to enhance with everything, you know, from sex to girls to friends to family. Like what I really wanted to know what was what. And I think my perspective, you know, looking at my role models, you know, it actually became my friends. And like my father, you know, he was a big influence on how I viewed, you know, what manhood was. And if I could put in 3 words, probably money was successful. You know, having women was successful. And it's like, as I think back on it, it's pretty sad that I thought that way, but I didn't know any better. So that's where my perspective was driven and orchestrated. What about you?
For me, it's kind of almost the same. You see how you said like with music videos, stuff like that. So with me, same thing. Grew up in the church. I saw my father as a strong man, and they pretty much showed me in a sheltered way what manhood was, just watching him, how he conducted himself, how he carried himself. But what changed it for me when I got exposed to basically the real life. So I'm watching music videos, I'm seeing all these things. So now I'm looking at money, girls as power, and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. So like, if you getting money, then you really popping out here. So it's about looking good. So like, I'd say like 14. So that's like what?
Going into 9th grade.
Yeah, 9th grade.
8th grade, that transition. Going into
exactly. So it's like, I started thinking I'm going into manhood now because I'm going to 9th grade. I'm like, I'm thinking, all right, I'm in 9th grade and I got to turn up. So I'm sagging my pants, hat low. Like my dad didn't teach me that. Like,
yeah,
I had a father in the home. So it's like, he didn't teach me that that's how you're supposed to look. Like, but I thought that was popping because to my dad, like, it was just so normal. So it was like, oh, okay, you don't even really, like, later on in life, you don't even really pay attention. Like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. But you're exposed to this flashy life, and you're like, yo, that look more popping to me. Because you're in high school, everybody trying to find themselves, everybody trying to be cool, everybody trying to be down. So it's like you just more worried about being popping.
Yeah.
So for me, that was more so it, trying to be fly, trying to look good, girls, that respect, I would say. I ain't gonna front, like, when I used to see, like, the gang dudes in school,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front, I thought they was cool.
What?
Yeah, like, cause, like, you understand, we grew up around, like, I never was in the gang, but I was always around people that was, like, affiliated or.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I dig it.
that influence is like, kind of enticing. Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't think about it at the time. You just think you just around. But when I look back, it's like,
that wasn't cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like,
Word.
I thought it was cool. But why do you think, like for an example, because I obviously have a different perspective of manhood now. Like, but I had a father that showed it the right way. So how do you feel like people that don't have, like, not even like a father figure, like someone like a strong manhood in their life, role model in their life, like, how do you feel with them not being able to understand true manhood later on in life?
It becomes a generational thing, and I think that when we adopted certain philosophies, because that's really what it is. It's a cultural philosophy that we adopt that we think is right?
Yeah.
When we adopt them, we don't know any better, right? So the people that let's just say from 10 to 20, right? You look at that generation again. It's much different now than it was when we was growing up.
Yeah.
But our perspective was a lot different because I really believe that we had a biblical foundation. And I think that's the part that saved us. Now, for a child that doesn't even know who God is or have that moral conscience, now subconsciously the music becomes their God, or you know, or a male role model, or the gangbanger becomes their role model or their inspiration. Right. And I think we always walk that fine line because we didn't know, put it like this, we didn't agree with everything we seen. But at the same time, we were never lost to the actual world. It's almost like church kind of like give us that
so it's kind of like we saw it, but we didn't fully immerse in it.
Exactly.
Because we kind of had another balance.
Exactly. So now you look at kids who don't even have the balance. You can't blame them for oh, yo,
going that route.
I'm banging, I'm selling drugs, I'm doing this. And it's like, look, if somebody was to teach them a better way at a younger age, their foundation would be different. Right. So we were fortunate enough to know, you know, who God is. Even if we didn't have that personal relationship, our parents did enough in us to hold us to a point of seeking in our own. Now, when you're looking at other kids, and I deal with kids a lot, it's like I can tell who is biblically grounded compared to the kids who really just have no guidance, or they're just lost. And I can be honest with you, majority of those kids suffer from real self-esteem issues, like intense self-esteem issues, which is why a lot of the boys, they lash out, or a lot of the girls, they seek male attention, all of those kind of things. Not saying that that's guaranteed, because there's some people who have those kind of relationships, or they kind of have that mind frame, and they have role models. It's just that they're choosing to be rebellious. Now, when it comes to the kids that don't have it at all, I think this is where we step in. And we have to be that foundation where they can look to us and go, yo, they got braids, tattoos. You know, they're not over here trying to talk all special and make it seem like they better than us. Like, nah, they really understand what we do. We get it, you know. And I think, although we didn't have that growing up, we had each other, and I think we were much more of a community compared to individuals, and we helped each other through the way.
That's true.
So it becomes a thing where, like you said, once you hit high school, now you went to Uniondale.
Yeah.
I went to private school. So I was in private school from 8th to 5th grade. Then I did homeschool for 4 years. So I did I went to private school until 4th grade. So I did homeschool 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I was pretty much isolated from society, but I still was in the town, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you had to wear uniform, right?
Oh my God, yeah, I had to wear uniform, and for me, and it's weird because it's like when I look back, uniform was normal to me. That was just a normal thing.
That wasn't normal to me.
Yeah, it was normal. So like when you talk about getting fly and everything, like at that age, I wasn't thinking about getting fly. I mean, I had all the Jordans and I had all that kind of stuff, but it didn't really matter to me because I'm like, I can't wear this every day. I wear it. It's like my Saturday outfits or whatever.
Yeah.
So it didn't really hold no substance to me. I was more concerned about like being cool with sports, being good at baseball. I played baseball pretty much my whole life, and then I picked up basketball later on. But that's what was cool to me, the sports aspect of it. Getting fly, I'm like, I mean, naturally I get fly because I just emulate what I see. And I just buy what I see, but for the most part, I didn't have to worry about the pressures of, school and making sure you had the best clothes. Because a lot of kids, majority don't have the finances for that. And trying to keep up, it could cause a lot of pressure and a lot of low key depression for kids, especially with social media. What about you?
That was kind of like the same for me. Like, so like going into 9th grade, they started this thing where they wanted to have us wear uniforms. So I used to, on my way to school, change my clothes so that I wasn't wearing the uniform on. Cause I already knew, cause it was a choice. Like either your parents had to sign a paper for you not to wear uniform, and I knew everybody I knew was not gonna wear uniform.
Hold on, my guy. Hold up. Where did you change your clothes at?
Bro, I would go to the corner from the crib and just change my clothes. Bro. Me and my brother outside, bro.
Y'all bugging. Y'all took it too far. Nah, y'all took it too far.
Yes, because it was like, yo, everybody else wasn't wearing it. Everybody we was cool with didn't wear it. Yeah. But after a while, they finally shut it off. And it wasn't like you said with the sports, we started playing sports. There wasn't really no proving yourself. Like still everybody clown you if you couldn't dress or nothing like that. But it wasn't really that much of a pressure. So I could imagine someone that didn't have an outlet like sports to a community. Like, I could imagine they always feel like they got to prove themselves, try to look cool. Like, especially if they don't have a role model. It's like, that's tough, man. That's tough.
That so might, it might give them, having those fly clothes or having the best gear, that might be the way of getting confidence. So you're saying you got the high school for as far as dressing, like you still would do your thing, but it was more of a, now I'm getting into the sports aspect. I'm a star athlete, so I don't got to really worry about that as much compared to when you was going into middle school. That's all it was about.
I
could get that. I can get that. So let me ask you this then, right? When did you start to, formulate your thought? Because obviously you thought that, getting fly and, that whole gang, all that kind of stuff, that was your thing during, your middle school years. But when you got into high school, what was your perspective of what a man is? Was it you think it stayed the same? Did it change? Like, what was your outlook on it?
I would say it kind of still stayed the same, but in that same sense, it enhanced more. Like, the more money you got, the more girls you got, the fly you got, and
you talking about from 9th grade to 12th grade?
Yeah, 9th grade to 12th grade, even up until I would say 1920 after high school.
So like the beginning of college. Okay. So like from 14 to 19, 18.
Exactly.
18-ish. Okay,
exactly. Even in college, like I would and I look at it and I'm like, yo, what? Bro, I'm going to class and I'm really college. I'm trying to get fly, bro.
Now what kind of fly we talking about? True Religion jean suits?
Yes, True Religions, trying to make sure I got Gucci's on. Like
Gucci's on your feet?
Yes, bro.
You was taking it too far. You was about that life. Like, you was about that life.
Dragging it out because I had a job. Cause you understand, like my parents, they weren't buying me the Jordans. Like my parents in high school probably bought me one pair of Jordans.
Like, and they probably was Team Jordans, right?
Nah. They were actually
Air 44s.
They're real Jordans. They're real Jordans.
Oh, my bad. The Air 44s.
I had some real J's. But it took me so long to finally get my first pair of Jordans, and I'm like, dang, son, when I get my own money, I'm gonna be getting blah blah blah. So when I started making my own money, getting a job, senior year after high school, it was over. He couldn't tell me nothing. Like I'm buying my own clothes.
So you was a grown little boy. That's what it was.
Yeah, I thought I was because I was making my own money.
Grown little boy.
But mind you, I'm still living in my people's crib.
In the same room.
Yeah, in the same room. But you couldn't tell me nothing. I had money. Like I'll be watching music videos, counting my money from work. Mind you, getting my check, going to the bank, getting the whole thing out, not even having a bank account.
You was cashing out? You was cashing out.
Got my bread, like,
got
online,
my bag.
like, what I'm about to cop. Like, that was it for me. Like, yo, going out, going to parties, like, walking to the parties, feeling like the man, like, just chilling, like, yeah, what's up? Like, yeah, I'm trying to get it in. Like,
that wasn't. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. That wasn't my experience. Real quick though, my ring is pink because I ripped my red one, bro. This y'all look crazy, but I don't care though, because I have to have my ring on. You know what I mean? I'm not wearing my other one. It look a little crazy. I'm gonna get my red one. But besides that, I mean, my experience from high school, it pretty much is the same as far as, you know, I just was really focused on sports and girls. You know, I feel like all I getting fly stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna say it came natural, but I've always had that kind of stuff. So by the time I was in high school, it didn't mean nothing to me. And I went to St. Mary's up until my junior year, and then I transferred to Uniondale. So when I transferred to Uniondale, I mean, I guess I kind of got the bug for it, but it wasn't nothing crazy. Like I was wearing my team gear. You know, that was more in, like having your basketball apparel on, whatever. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me. And then of course I graduated high school. I went away to school, but that I was 19 at camp. So you already know at that point I might have been young. I'll definitely give myself credit for this. I might have been young, but I was never dumb when it came to my kid. You know, my son, I knew for a fact, like, nah, you know, this is priority for me. Not no girls.
19, that's a totally different from when I was 19. That wasn't even on my mind.
Yeah, you know, it was one of them kind of things where when I found out that, you know, Cam was going to be born, I'm not going to say I focused, because that wasn't it. I was still wilding with females and doing dumb things. You know, I'm not going to say I was like, I'm not going to say I was an adult, but I will say this. I knew for a fact that I was going to be there. I didn't know he was going to be the reason why I'm matured, right? I always use the analogy, you know, Cam raised and I raised him. And that still holds true to this day. I look at Cam and I'm like, listen, and I look at my wife and I look at Christian and I look at Matt, like, I'm like, yo, honestly, if I didn't have Cam, there's no way that I would have been ready for Christian. There's no way I would have been ready for Mario. No way. Not even, I'm talking about not even close. Because when I think about my 19 to about, I want to say maybe 25, I was still doing the same things I did. I was still doing the same things I did as a kid. And I think that's played a major part. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
That played a major part. And it just, what I realized is, as I was going through the process of, you know, accepting who I was at that time, because obviously years a day wilding, but me, I'm very mellow and quiet about mine, because I'm worried about being a good father, right? That became my ultimate thought, and what kind of elevated my mind. And what that did was, it made all that other stuff irrelevant. You know, I'll say this, as far as girls, I still was Ed. You know?
Yeah. You're still 19.
I'm still 20, still 21. I'm still doing the dumb stuff that, like, when I look back, I always say, like, yo, I wish for every person that I ever did, you know, dirty. Real, like, it's not even a joke, because when I think back, I'm like, yo, I really didn't know no better. I was bugging, and I hurt a lot of people along the way, along with hurting myself.
I was giving myself to people, and it's like, I lost so much of myself, even though I was still conscious of being a father. But I did look at 25 maturation period, because once you mentally, your body develops.
Yeah.
You start to use logic and reason a lot more compared to, you're basing your logic off of, I want to get fly. Now you base your logic off, so I need to get it together. Another thing too we have to be conscious of is we can't base maturity off of age.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
5-year-old, 40, even 50-year-old men who you still don't got your brain together. Like
you
figured out so late. It's like you hurt so many people along the way of your maturation process. Like, why don't you want to get it? You understand? So I'll ask you, what was your changing moment? Like, clearly Cam was my defining moment where it's like, yo, I need to get this together. What was yours?
I would say from 18 to like 21, I was straight wilding. Because I was so sheltered and stuff like that. So I'm really, I was wilding. I had my own car. I could go wherever I wanted.
What kind of car you had? Tell them what kind of cars you had. Go down the list, boy. Big dog.
Well, first I had a Mitsubishi that was hand down. So when I started getting my own money, I'm like, I'm buying my own car. First car was a two-door BMW.
That's a negative, but okay. I live
Sold that. Then I got a Benz. Sold that. Then I got another Benz. Sold that. Then I got another Benz. My last Benz had a CL 550. So I'm like, mind you, you can't, like, in my mind, like, you can't tell me nothing. Like,
riding around this Benz getting it.
Yeah, I'm getting money. Like, you can't really tell me nothing. But after a while, I would say from the age 18 to 21, had all this stuff and I'm buying all those clothes, it started getting old. And then I would say the first change of my maturity, I'd say 22. And the crazy thing is, before I even turned 22, like at like 19, 20, Charlie was like, yo, you out here crazy. I'm like, yo, I bet you I'm probably gonna settle down by the age of 22. And he was like, man, I doubt it. I told him that. He was like, no way. I'm like, I'm telling you, I just know it. Cause I felt like, I was doing everything like back to back all day, every day. So I was like, I know this is gonna slow down. So literally about 22, it happened. Like I got a serious girlfriend, my first serious girlfriend since high school. And it was like, I stopped going out as much. I started opening my mind like, yo, this is the kind of life I want. We wasn't gonna get married or nothing, but it was like, I like this, like just chill. Like I don't gotta worry about going out every week and stuff like that.
Wasting money.
Yeah, so that's when it started slowing down for me. And by the time I was 24, that's when I met my now wife.
What's up, sis? You know the vibes.
Yeah, so I feel like from 22 to 24, that's when I really started slowing down.
What age you got married again?
I got married at 25.
25. All right, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I met my wife at 24, married at 25, and literally through 22 to 25, that's when the shift started happening. Where I started realizing the more important things in life. Finally got me a bank account. I mean, I'm saving my money.
Why you don't have a bank account?
Because it was always about having cash. So when I got my check, I wanted it.
Let me throw a little nugget in there, right? All the people who put their money on Instagram, if you can fit all your money in a picture or a screen, that's not a lot of money. Like, son, listen, teachers, all I'm saying, you could fit it in the screen.
That's a fact.
Got more, but it's just not a good look. I'm just saying. That's a little.
It wasn't cool no more. It just got old. Like having cash, having money, it just got old. I'm like, and at the end of the day, that's why I say like that foundation. Because at the end of the day, that was planted in my head. So I knew settling down was eventually in my future.
Yeah, I dig it.
So this wasn't my life. So for somebody that don't have that, like. That probably a lot harder to settle down at that age.
Money's everything to them. Everything, money, women. Yeah.
24 to 25, it was like, and then when I got married at 25, it was like, okay, now.
Game time.
Yeah. I already started preparing myself before I got married, but once I got there, I was like, okay, now I really got to get to it. Really got to get to it.
I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. Marriage is beautiful thing. That's a whole nother topic. But you know, this manhood thing is like, if you don't master being a man, you have no right to marry a woman.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been ready if I wasn't working on myself between that time.
No right. Leave these women alone. Let them find a man, not a grown boy. I just call a grown boy. You know, the older men that's still doing dumb things. You still out here cheating. And a little nugget too. If you an adult, bro, and you gotta stop looking at all these women. Just sit tight.
Yeah, man. Like
it's okay, you know. And that's just a little nugget for the side.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, right? That 25-year-old mind frame, it might seem young, but I have this thing I do where it's like, look, so this is 10, right? This is your 20, and then your 30. These are your prime. So you gotta really put that time in. And you know, you got your 40, your 50, 2 spans of life, 2 separate avenues. This your first part, this your second part. But for the most part, once you hit them 20s, when you got that energy, you gotta build. You gotta start. I wish somebody would have came to me and said, listen, you need to start looking to build your future. So that way, by the time you hit 30, you know, cruise control. You got your career, you got your family, you building your legacy. And I think, you know, I listen to Les Brown a lot and Dr. Miles Monroe. Those are my 2 guys. But Les Brown said something, and I had to take a second. I'll tell you, he said, so African-American men are addicted to powerlessness, death syndrome, and incarceration. Right? That's interesting. He goes, majority of Black men do not value education. They don't read until they're incarcerated. And I'm like, like, why is it that we have that perspective where it's like 2 things? You go to jail to get your weight up, and you go to jail to get smart.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fact.
While you're free, you can go get your weight up and go to the gym while you're out here and live a healthy lifestyle. You can educate yourself. And, you know, we talk about education all the time. And education isn't always going to school. It could be mastering a craft and then making it. Like, all the time. We promote master a craft, and then if you want to educate yourself, education should be making it your business. So you need to learn how to run the business. So that way you can be your boss. That type of mentality. Not saying there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5, but you should always have that mind from where it's like, yo, I'm definitely going to become something bigger than where I am.
Exactly.
I think that's where, you know, the faith steps in, because it's like, me, I'm always conscious. I'm like, hey, listen, if I'm made in the image of God, I can do anything. And I really got to believe that. You know, from everything we did, from a lot of stuff we doing well. We started these conversations months ago.
Yeah.
Get to this point, you know what type of faith you got to have to do that. Like, I believe in you, you believe in me, we believe in God.
Exactly.
I think as you become a real man, you start to realize, I just meet God halfway, and he does the rest for me. And when you start taking that perspective of it, it just takes so much pressure off you. You know, it's like, listen, I'm going to do your work, and I know you're going to see it through. So we're doing this podcast, we're doing the document. Like, this is small in
exactly
what we're really going to be doing.
These are small little seeds.
Seeds we plant. You know, and it's always that kind of thing where it's like, when I look at men and we have conversation with men, we're like, what are you thinking about? It's disheartening, and it's like, are these the people that are mentoring these kids, and what are we teaching them? What are we telling them? Like, it's definitely one of those kind of things that are challenging. So I guess my question would be to you is, you have 2 kids, a little girl and a little boy. So what is going to be your lesson to your children as a man? Well, let's stick with EJ, because Lee is a whole different, you know, she's a princess. So you deal with her a little different. But when you deal with your son, raising him to be a man, what is it that you're going to want to instill in him? Like the main thing. If you could say 2 main things that you're going to instill in him no matter what are they going to be?
Oh, definitely faith. And like, even before having my son, like, this is why I say it's like, before you become a father, you have to deal with the man. Before you become a husband, you got to deal with the man. Before I even had my son, I started changing everything. The music I listened to.
Okay.
The things I would say, like.
So your music, real quick. Let me ask you a question. So the music, what did you feel? Why did you feel that you needed to change the music? Like, what was your driving factor behind that?
Personally, for me, I had to change what I was feeding my soul. What I was feeding, because like, what you feed your soul is what's gonna come out. So if I'm listening to trap music all the time,
when you trap music,
selling drugs, like that's all I used to bump, trap music, getting money music. So like, I started realizing like, okay, I'm listening to trap music, talking about selling drugs, doing drugs. I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna have a son. I'm gonna tell him these are things he should not be doing. But when he gets in a car, that's the music he's listening to. Like I'm the first person teaching him what a hypocrite is.
Ooh.
So like,
talk, my boy,
like, and I realized that I'm like, yo, I'm gonna tell him not to sell drugs, not to do drugs, but that's what I'm feeding his brain.
Facts.
Like that makes no kind of sense.
Zero.
It makes no kind of sense. So I was like, I gotta change what I'm saying, the music I'm listening to. I started building my own my spiritual relationship with God, like because at the end of the day, even though my parents taught me, I need to learn for myself.
Seek him for yourself, my friend.
Exactly, and I'm gonna do the same with him. Like I'm gonna teach you, but you still have to find your own path. So that was my driving force. Like everything I do goes to him. So I can't be out here like. I stopped doing so much stuff, bro. When I tell you, I like anything that literally I would tell God everything. Whatever's not like you, take it out of me.
I like that.
Take it out of me because I don't want any of that to pass to my son. And that was my biggest thing. Like I gotta change everything. That's why when we get into our 3 main things as manhood, that played a big part in where I'm at right now.
So I'll tell you this much, right? It was, for me, I just always looked at, obviously I started young, I was a father. I've been a father for almost 10 years now, 9 years. So obviously I evolved from when I was a child to teenager, throughout the process to now. I look at Cam and obviously Christian too, but Cam is older. So I'm putting that real work in because Christian's gonna be looking up to him. So Christian's gonna have it even better because he got a brother and a father that got the right comfort. And I would say that the most important thing I ever instilled in him to this day is self-belief, but he understands that God lives inside of him.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately he believes in God. So I would say faith too, but we have a saying where I ask him, like, why are you gonna be successful? He'd be like, because I believe in myself. Who lives inside you? He'd be like, God. I so why are you really gonna be successful? Because of God. And he means that. He might not understand it now, but later on, when daddy's gone and my goal and my prayer is always that he passes that down to his kids. Like that's a saying that goes throughout, the generation. And them understanding that, look, everything that has happened, to get to this point, I paid the price for it. So my father's sins, I pray that it stopped here because I never wanted it to reach my kids. I know the effects of, a man living foul and then it coming back on his kids. I know that. I lived that. I had to deal with that every day. And, I always said, what hurt me the most, honestly, was thinking that my sons would have to pay the price for my sins. And I wasn't willing to let them bear that cross. So if they're going to be messed up, if that's what you want to call it, it won't be from daddy's sins. It'll be something from the mistakes that you made. But the more I thought about it, I said, well, I'm not going to say they're going to be perfect, but they're going to have me there. So they won't make the same mistakes. They might make little mistakes, but they're not going to make character altering.
They got tools in the shed.
They got their hardware. They got, if I need this, I got this. And on top of that, I'm going to be there to guide them. And that, I think, what the ultimate thing is. And like you said, a lot of parents, they be like, listen, do what I say, not what I do. That sounds stupid. Why
exactly.
Do what he does. Okay.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They're gonna do what he does. That's
exactly.
What son is gonna do. Exactly. I do what I see my father do. On a consistent basis. That sounds bad English, but you get what I'm saying. He's gonna do what he sees. So
exactly
to live the life you're trying to convince him to live. So honestly, I always say this too. It's like, look, when I speak, it's gonna have power because my life reflects who I am. Simple. When I tell you, listen, don't do drugs, guess what? Daddy doesn't do drugs, my friend. And I tell you, hey, listen, you're not supposed to cheat on your wife. Go ask your mom how many times daddy cheated on her. She's gonna say never, okay?
Exactly.
Now I'm setting that standard through my lifestyle. And that's much more powerful than just saying, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you the right advice, but I'm over here doing this stupidity, you know?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think having that, you know, that type of mentality, I mean, obviously both of us have it, and we're able to lean on each other for support. I think that's such a big thing, the culture that we created amongst each other, and that we're trying to create with other men, you know, that mentality that, yo, listen, they're not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do. So
exactly. Yeah.
God's law, do right, my friend. All that really matters, right? But let's get into the 3 key concepts. You know what I mean? We're gonna break it down.
Okay.
3 key concepts that make up, you know, a man. I mean, there's a whole bunch, but you want me to go first?
Nah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I got you. So we're gonna start off with accountability. We'll go toe for toe. We'll go toe for toe.
Okay.
I got accountability. And you know,
that was one of mine, but that's okay.
That's my go-to. Accountability changed my life. I'm not kidding you, bro. When I took accountability for all the things that I did, and I really looked at myself internally, mentally, I said, listen, man, if I could figure out what I did wrong and learn from it, I'll be the wisest man in the world. And my kids will be further ahead than anybody else, because I'm going to tell them what I did and what I did wrong. And this is what you don't do, and this is why you don't do it. And I think that's so valuable. And I wish a lot more parents would adopt that, you know, that philosophy.
Yeah. So that was definitely one of mine, but the big one was sacrifice.
Ooh.
Like that's really big. And not only just sacrificing for my kids, my wife, sacrificing to God, giving him my will, like just literally telling him, God, have your way in my life. Whatever, when I'm being hard-headed, whatever I want to do, like help me to just put my ego, my pride aside and do what you want me to do. Because at the end of the day, that will benefit my family. Like when I had my son, I had the CL550 coupe. I had to sell it. Like if I was still in that arrogant, like, man, I ain't selling my coupe.
I would have kept that. We didn't have to get a family.
I thought about it. I thought about it. I thought about it. I was like,
you're gonna get another one. I ain't worried.
Yeah, I get another one. I was like, nah, I need a truck. I got a truck. Bro, I was riding a motorcycle. I'm like, just recently, I was like, nah. Like it's constant, it's not just a one-time thing, it's constant sacrifice. I sold my motorcycle. I'm like, man, like mind you, this is something I love.
Daily sacrifice.
So I'm like, nah, I can't be riding knowing that there's a possibility I might not come home to my kids. So it's like, when that hit me when I was riding, I was like, I literally was riding, I almost started tearing up, because I'm like, yo, there's a possibility I can't make it back home to my kids just because of something like luxury.
Selfish ambition, my man.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I love it, it's cool, but is it worth my family? So I was like, nah, that's dead. So I sold my bike, and it was just like, it just felt good. It felt right. Like the sacrifice, I've grown to become like love and family to sacrifice. Like that's very important to me, sacrificing for my family.
I like that. Yeah. I got another one. Here we go. Consistency.
Yeah, right? It's a big one.
So a lot of people think consistency is, oh, you do things, you know, every day, whatever. Or not even every day. I don't want to say every day. You do things, you know, every so often. So my version of consistency is your pattern. So here's a little nugget for women. Don't ever trust what a guy says. Trust his patterns. And here go a nugget for men too. You got friends, those are your homies, trust his patterns. If he has snake patterns, if he a liar, guess what? He's a liar. He'll do it on a consistent basis. If he a good dude, he gonna prove it every time. It's about patterns and a consistent person. And what I learned, and this is really from, you know, the maturation of my mind, where I still, even to this day, I seek guidance and from the greatest man ever, which is Jesus Christ, obviously.
Of course.
I look at his life. He was just so consistent. He never strayed away from his purpose. And through him understanding who he was and his relationship with our Father, it allowed him to be so consistent in his thoughts. And honestly, everything, it starts in your mind. If you think it enough, it's gonna happen. So that's why you got to be careful about what you think. A lot of people, life and death in the power of the tongue. Yes, you say it, but before it gets to you to speaking it out loud, it starts up here. It starts in your mind. And I believe consistent thoughts bring about positive answers if the stuff you're thinking is positive. So Genesis all the time, or I think about Genesis, whatever. I'm like, I want to do all these things with the kids. I want the build. I want the camp. I want, and even this, like with the podcast, we like, listen, we want to travel. We want to do seminars. We want to have mentoring programs.
Yeah.
It's these common thoughts that happen often, and really take that into consideration. And those thoughts become our patterns, and those patterns will eventually become our actions, which is why we're here today. So hit me one. What's good?
Okay. I was spiritual shepherd. So it's like I have to almost guide them, but guide them with leading by example. Like being next to them, not being too far in front where it's like, yo, come on, catch up. What y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm right there with them, like with my family, with my wife, with my kids. Like, I have to show them the way with them, not just leaving them like, yo, I'm doing my thing. Like when people complain about their wife, like, yo, I'm trying to do my thing, but my wife ain't doing this. My kid, like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? It should never. No, I'm gonna be with them side by side, making sure, showing them how it's supposed to go, like the sacrifices you need to make, what you should be doing every day, and being that daily example and that daily source of how spiritually reading the Bible, the music you listen to, what you're ingesting, what you ingest comes out. Like if I'm constantly listening to rap, trap videos, stuff like that, when the pressure gets tough, that's what's gonna come out. I'm constantly feeding myself faith-based things. When it gets tough, that's the only thing that can come out.
That's a fact.
So what you put in is what's gonna come out. And I'm big on that.
You know what? When you say that, it just reminded me of when I don't know if I could bring this up, but at that little situation with dang, I don't know if I could bring it up.
Bro, I plan to be so transparent on this podcast because we gotta be, because men like us don't speak about real stuff, and the platforms like this, we gotta be as real as possible if we want to see a change.
When wifey had the miscarriage, right? Boy, when I tell you I was crying out, you called me.
We was on the phone crying, like that was rough.
The things that we spoke to one another was faith-based things, where it's like, yo, listen, we don't know why God did it, but at the end of the day, we trust him, and we know everything has. I'm about to start crying to him. Wow.
Yeah, I know, bro. Like I feel it again.
But it was crazy. It was like I'll never forget that moment, because I'm like, yo, that's when I knew, like, what we're in for one another, it can't be duplicated, right? Like we really, that was such an intense moment.
It was
and
real.
For us to not panic, and it automatically went to, yo, listen, God, however you want it and whatever you do, I'm okay with it. And we're gonna be here for each other, and we're always gonna lean on you regardless of the situation, because it's like that hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that was a real moment. That was a real moment. It was almost like we didn't even have to talk. Like we just literally just on the phone.
That was
tough. That was tough.
Like when you told me, bro, I literally lost my. I couldn't even speak. It was like it was just tears of just like, yo, nah. And I was so proud of you and Kayla, and I told y'all that after, about y'all. Then y'all had Leah, and it was like, I'm so proud that y'all had enough faith to go again. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yo, you know what? That might have happened, but that's not gonna stop us.
Yeah.
I still know God got my back, and I really honestly believe that's why you guys in the position, because y'all core is in God.
Exactly.
And y'all don't depend on each other. And I can't wait till we talk about marriage and
man,
that's gonna be a good one. But let me get another one before we get out. All right, my next one is trustworthiness, and we're gonna use both of them. So trust and worthiness. Trust is cool, you know what I mean? I trust you, but you have to be worthy of my trust. And I always say you have to earn trust every single day. don't bank on what you did yesterday for me to trust you. No, I appreciate you as a friend. You're my brother. I'm going to earn your trust every day. I'm going to be consistent in my patterns so I earn your trust every day. And I go with my wife, right? I earn her trust every day. I go out my way to, and make sure she understands, like, listen, you don't have a husband that's a clown. I'm not out here making you look stupid or my look stupid. We're not even entertaining those thoughts. We got too much to build with one another and with our family and our business and with our friend to be worried about stupidity. So I make myself trustworthy. And I think if everybody took that philosophy of, look, I gotta earn people's trust that are close to me, just period, but in business and friendships and anything, like, I can't bank on, there's no such thing as a credit line of trust. Cash right here, right now. Because think about it like this. A person could do one thing and you'll forget about all the good they did. You know?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's like, a great analogy that I seen was, there was a sheet of loose leaf paper and they balled it up, right? And they called it trust. And then they opened it up and they flattened it out and they say, look, once the paper's crumbled up or once you violate somebody's trust, that paper will never be what it was prior to that trust or prior to you balling it up. And when I looked at, I always remember that. Like, I always want to keep that paper with my friends, with my wife, and anybody, you know, even in Genesis, the parents and the kids. I want them to look at that paper and realize there'll never be a wrinkle on here because I'm consistent and I'm going to earn your trust daily with anything I do. So that's my final one. Hit me with one.
My final one is being a tone setter.
Oh.
So like the analogy you told me, like being a thermostat and not the the thermometer.
Being the thermostat.
The thermostat and not the thermometer.
I can't take credit for it. That was Life Brown.
Yeah. So that, like, definitely, I can't, like, just like with the miscarriage situation. If I would have been spazzing with my wife, like, yo, what the heck? What we gonna do, Bob? I kept it calm. Like, I showed my emotion with you, but then when I got back to her, I was that rock for her. You know what I'm saying? If things is going crazy in the house and I come in wilding, that just adds on to it. I have to be that tone setter to say, like, no, this is how we handling this is how we moving, and this is how it's gonna go. And I feel like that's very important, to be the tone setter, the thermostat in the home, to make sure everything is flowing the way it's supposed to. Because when things go wrong, I'm not blaming nobody else. It comes back to me, and that comes back to that accountability. And I'm big on that.
Yo, listen, bro, that was a dope one, bro. I mean, we're gonna let y'all know too. We have recorded this Sunday.
Yeah, bro.
In Zoom.
We did a whole hour already.
Yeah, bro. This is our second rodeo, but I feel like we hit different gems on this though.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shouts out.
Supposed to have guests. It was just so much stuff, but we got it done. We got it done. Hopefully this one works.
Yeah. What you mean? Hopefully, yo, Zoom told us put it in the cloud. Whatever that means.
It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud.
So that's how
we good.
Do it.
We good.
Listen, bro, you know I appreciate you.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Appreciate you too, my brother.
Proud of us, man. This is part 2. Oh, episode 2.
Episode 2. Thank y'all for watching. If you haven't seen the past videos, the Fatherhood Project, we got episode 1 out, that introduction. Yeah. Thank you for watching. This is episode 2. Wow. We'll see you next week. We're going to do it again. We're going to keep this going.
My God. Yo, we'll be in touch. Everybody else, have a good night. Stay safe. Stay safe, man. This corona stuff is crazy.
For real.
You know, listen, have faith. Believe in yourself. Believe in God, and everything will be straight, man.
Yes, sir.
Later.